Hey everybody, it's Heather Nichols here. Let's have a chat about going beyond the norm, going beyond the industry standard with business. One of the things that I think we can all probably, have all probably noticed is that there's this really interesting kind of strange diminishment going on in the world in so many ways. I've seen it since the pandemic, like so many businesses kind of going downhill, and also with this kind of technological revolution that we're having. You know, so much is automated and AIized, and there's such a decrease in the focus on person-to-person interaction. And I know that I personally don't really enjoy that. I don't necessarily want to call a company, reach their customer service line, and talk to a robot. I always bypass that option and ask to speak to a person if I can. And then if I can't speak to a person, then it can be frustrating. And so it's just interesting to see, because I think so many businesses are moving in that direction, with the interest of cutting costs, lowering the expenses to increase the bottom line. And when all that you're focused on in your business is an increase of the bottom line and a reduction of costs, it puts you into a poverty mindset. It takes you out of what your business is actually there for in the first place. And any business, it doesn't really matter what it is, it's going to have some involvement with people. Now, you may not be directly working with people, if you're in more of a technology business, like your interface may be more with computers or something like that. But ultimately, it's about the people. And I don't think anybody really enjoys being treated like a robot and being treated like a number. And yet somehow there's this like acceptance in the world that this is something that, this is just how we do business now. This is just, you go to a convenience store and you're going to check yourself out. You're going to pay yourself, and that's showing up in lots of places, not just convenience stores. But you call a company and you're going to get some sort of AI to interact with, or you do a chat on somebody's website. You're not probably going to be talking to a person. And who enjoys that? Nobody. So the value that we bring is so much more in what we're willing to see as a future and the energy that we're willing to be, not going automatically with the industry standard, not going automatically with, just whatever we've decided is like, well, everybody else is doing it, so I'm going to do it this way and it'll help me decrease my expenses. But actually looking at the future that you want to create and the world you want to live in. And there's a long-term, long game creation of wealth, creation of profit, creation of a greater future, that when you participate in that and you nurture that and you steward that, no matter what your business is, it's going to come back in spades. I recently had a choice like this myself, where I was doing a class and I was looking at the venue where I was going to hold the class, and it was between these two venues, and it was literally like one of them would have cost me around $5,000 less than the other one, and it made sense from a logical, numeric, pragmatic, not even pragmatic, I would say more practical point of view, to choose the cheaper venue. But I looked at it, and I looked at the people that were coming and what they were coming for, and the experience that they would like to have and what I would like to provide as my business. And I realized this was not if I chose the quote unquote cheaper option, it would actually not create more money for me. And that's strange, right? If I chose the cheaper option, it would be cheap. Like, it would cheapen. It would cheapen everything that I was doing. It would cheapen the class. It would diminish the experience that the people could have. And it was very clear that it was not going to be of financial benefit for me to pay $5,000 less for the venue. It was actually very clear that choosing the quote unquote more expensive option, it, like, when I looked at it energetically, it was like this massive future that I knew would be created if I chose that. And sometimes we have to choose, to use our money to create more in the future, and to create more money, and to create the energies and the realities that we'd like to have. I personally do not enjoy living in a world that is automated, that is robots interacting with people, and it always smells of cheap to me. There's a lack mentality and a poverty mentality, and I don't wish to create that as a future. And it can be so easy in business to be like, well, it's acceptable now to not have somebody that someone can talk to, but who cares what's acceptable? That road is going nowhere. And there's an amazing movie called, oh my gosh, what's it called? I can't remember it now. It's a movie about what happens if it's Idiocracy. What happens if we keep going down this path? What happens to the world? And it's a bit of a caricature, but I don't think it's too far off, really, of where we could find ourselves if we keep dumbing ourselves down and not valuing the beauty and the contribution that people be, and what we can create together as a world, as people, not as technology consuming and efficiency, machines, basically. There's a book that I also want to recommend that was just so spot on for me. I loved it. I listened to it in one fell swoop, by a man named Will Guidara, and it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. And it was like, yes, 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 yes. Every moment of that book that I listened to was really matched what I know about providing people with experiences and realities and possibilities that go way beyond just the bottom line and the standard, because sometimes the standard isn't even about the bottom line. It's just some formality that we think we have to do that really isn't required and doesn't make any sense. And Will Guidara is this amazing visionary who's willing to see what works, what doesn't, what's going to work, what isn't going to work, and he sees people, and he sees what he can gift to people from a very different perspective. And I love that. I would really like to see more of that in the world now. If we don't choose that as people, as entrepreneurs, as creators, it will go away more and more and more. It really is up to us to choose something different. And that is, we oftentimes don't think it makes much of a difference, but it really does. No matter how quote unquote small your business may be, or maybe not, it's like these little choices, that are big choices to say, what, the future of this planet, the future of business, the future for me, what I wish to see is way more about the brilliance of us, that can never be automated, and the wealth that creates, not only in your business, literally, it does translate to your bottom line, but in the world is something that I really wish to nurture more and more every day. So I hope this is a contribution to you. If it was, please share, like, comment, etc. so more people can see it. And I'll see you next time.